Hi, accounting students. This is the first of two videos looking at the advanced standard costing problems. I have put these into Excel so they're easier to work with, but you have worked solutions in your notes. So I'm going to now switch over to the Excel sheet. Okay, and this is the first example. You'll probably recognize the numbers as it's based on the variable costing, flexible budget problem that we looked at in class already. And we're going to start off by looking at sales. Now, remember with sales that the actual activity is the number of units sold, but the standard input is 1 unit. There's only one selling price per unit. So for sales, there are going to be no sales efficiency or volume variance. And the same is going to hold true for the variable selling overhead expense. There's going to be no volume variance or efficiency variance. And the same is going to hold true for fixed costs, because for fixed costs, there can't really be any volume variance if we're using variable costing. Obviously, for absorption costing, that's a different story. So for sales, what is our expected sales? Well, it should be equal to the number of units sold, which in this case was 60, and we're going to be multiplying that by the selling price, and the selling price was given here as $10. So if we go and work that out, that will give us, and I'm just putting this in twice so you can see the workings. That's going to be $600, and 600, because it's revenue, it's going to be shown as negative. So the difference between the actual and the standard in this particular case is going to be equal to 120, and it's negative, so we would see that as favorable because we're bringing in more revenue than we had anticipated. Let's go and have a look now at our materials. So for materials, we are going to be looking at the quantity of materials, which in this case was 300 pounds, and we're going to be multiplying by the standard price per pound. And that was given in this case as 50 cents. So let's just do that. It's equal to 300 multiplied by 0.5. So we got 150. The difference over here is going to be equal to what it actually cost us and what it should have cost us at the standard price, which is $30. In this particular case, what it did cost us less than what it should have, so that is a favorable variance. Now we're going to go and have a look at our standard. Now for our standard, we're going to show that what it should be equal to is the standard price, which is 50 cents a pound. Now we need to multiply that by the standard quantity. And to get the standard quantity, we want the actual units, which was 60, and we have to multiply that by the number of pounds per unit, which we have up here as 4. So 60 times 4 is going to give us 240. So the actual calculation is equal to 50 cents times 60 times 40, which is 240, which is going to give us 120. Again, we'll take this side, which is what it is, and that side is what it should be, and we'll subtract the differences. We've got 150 minus 120, and we have got 30. This is unfavorable. Why is it unfavorable? Because our actual, which is this side, is bigger than what it should be, and it's an expense, and it's bigger, so we are unhappy with that. Let's go have a look at labor. You'll see empty rows and things in these problems. Those empty rows are really just there just to give you space. Obviously, they're not necessary. Okay, so for labor, we'll go work out the middle column. We know that our actual is equal to 18 hours. And we should be multiplying that by the standard rate per hour, and the standard rate per hour was given as $5 an hour. So it's 18 times 5. Let's go work that out. that's 90. So again, to work out the difference, which in this case is our price or rate variance, what we need to do is we're going to take the actual minus what it should be. So we've got the 108 minus the 90, and it's 18. It's more than it should be, so that is going to be unfavorable variance. Over here, we're going to go and work out the standard. So the standard, we have got the standard price or rate, which is $5 an hour, and we need to multiply by that by the standard quantity. What is the standard quantity? Well, it's hours it should have taken. That's based on actual level of activity, which in this case is 60, and we're going to go multiply that by the standard input per unit, and it should take 0.2 of an hour. So it's 60 multiplied by 0.2. And obviously 60 multiplied by 0.2 is going to give us 12. So our answer is 5 times 12, which is 60. The difference here, we take the actual, which is this side, less what it should be. So we've got 90 minus 60, and that is unfavorable, because the actual is more than it should be. Right, now we got two types of variable overheads. In this particular case, the variable overhead for manufacturing is based on labor hours, so it's going to give us a very similar pattern to what we had in labor. So let's go work out the middle amount number here. We have got 18 hours times the standard rate per hour, which was $7.50. So that's 18 times by $7.50, which is 135. What is our difference? Actual minus what it should be, and it's more than it should be, so it is an unfavorable variance. Let's go and look at the standard now. So to get the standard, we are going to take the standard rate, which is $7.50, and we're going to multiply that by the standard quantity, which, as will be above, is 60 units multiplied by the standard input of 0.2 hours per unit. So we've got $7.50 multiplied by the standard hours, or standard quantity hours, which would be 12, which is 90. So our difference is equal to 135 minus the 90, and that's 45, and again, this is unfavorable. Our variable selling costs are going to be equal to the standard rate, which should be 50 cents a unit, and we're going to multiply that by the standard quantity, which is just simply the units sold. There's only one sales commission per unit, so we have got 50 cents times 60, which gives us 30. What is the difference? Here we're going to go and take actual minus what it should be, and we have a $6 negative, and that will be a favorable variance. Finally, we get down to our fixed costs. We know this from the previous example. It's not actually written up here, but for our manufacturing, it was supposed to be 100, and for our admin, it's supposed to be 75. So in both these cases, we've got actual minus what it should be, which in this case is unfavorable. And then here we gain, for the selling, we've got actual minus what it should be, and that is also unfavorable. And then obviously we can go and add all the variances up. We know from our previous work that the profit should have been 125, and all the variances will add up in these two columns in total to 9 favorable, to explain the difference between the two profits. Okay, so that's our first advanced example. We're going to go and look at the next one in 1 minute's time.